Good morning, everybody. This is Jamie Machek with the Nicolet Federated Library System. Thank you so much for joining us on this Thursday morning, our 30-minute Thursday on low-cost marketing tools. Since this is a short session, we're just going to get right into it. Our presenter this morning is Karen Eckberg, and she is a campus librarian at Rasmussen College, and that's at the campus here in Green Bay. So Karen, whenever you are ready, feel free to get started.
Thank you, everybody. If you have questions as I go through this very short session, please let Jamie know. And because we're going to go through a couple of things. I am not trained as a marketing person, but I do a lot of low-cost marketing on my campus, and this has been a wonderful experience for me to do some investigating for you. To cover in this very short, and I said 25 minutes because, well, that helped me figure out how long it should take. We're going to talk about what this presentation is not, the parameters of the possibilities for your opportunities for marketing. We're going to talk a little bit about images and pictures and some opportunities there. And then we're going to finish with 4 online marketing tool options that I have discovered over the time that I have been looking at this particular scheme. So what it is not. This is not including Microsoft Office tools. By now, most everyone has been familiar with either using Microsoft Word or Microsoft Publisher. This is not using those. We're not going to use screen capture software right now. There's a lot of resources out there that can do that. We're not going to look at things that are too expensive. And I'll explain a little bit as to what the parameters of what I had looked at for opportunities and options, but it's not going to be too expensive. There are some things that are free, but with everything, there's always going to be a cost to that. I looked at some tools that are not too difficult to learn, and for each of the 4 marketing tool options that I have suggested, I identified whether or not it is a medium or a minimal technical difficulty. Some things are much easier to use than others, as I'm sure that makes sense to everyone. And we're not going to talk about online strategies, web strategies, or marketing help. So those things, obviously, each one of those could be its own separate 30-minute marketing. But this is what we're going to look at. The marketing of specific print, maybe pictures, posters, JPEGs, that sort of thing that can help you easily market your product, your event. We're going to look at items and things and resources that are at least less than $100 for any one product. Now, some of these things are not $100 for the year. It might be $100 for 3 months, but I wanted to keep a price line of about $100 per any product. And I wanted to look at things that had multiple download options. Many things that I looked at can only download, especially in the free version, because I did not have a budget to investigate the paid version part. But some of the options that we're going to look at have things like both PNG files as well as JPEGs, or it might have a PNG, so you can actually look at create an image in something, as well as a PDF. So I wanted to look at some of the downloaded options as well. And I looked at the quality end product. So I didn't want to have something that looked really awful. I wanted to look at tools, these online marketing tools that really look nice at the very end of the game, and it didn't take too much effort to make things look nice. So that's really what we were looking at, what I intended for this particular webinar about low-cost marketing options. Before we look at the 4, I do want to spend a little time talking about images, pictures, things that we know that our patrons look at first. They don't look at words per se, they look at images. First thing off the bat, clip art can be great, but it can also be really bad. Obviously, you don't want to have an event that is geared towards adults with a clip art that is intended for a preschooler. It can be bad. We all seen images of bad clip art. I didn't need to put that on there, but there are some really bad options there. Stock options, as in things that have been purchased by a stock photographer, is a great option for you as well. And one of the really high end, and I should mention, I gave Jamie the PowerPoint for this, so you'll be able to see what's going on. The big stock option, bigstockphoto.com, is a fantastic way of getting images as low as 10 images a day for a month. And so that is something, especially if you're doing a big event and you need 10 images of a particular location, or of a lake, or of someone reading by a lake, something really odd, and you don't have any pictures on hand of that. Look at Big Stock Photo, because they might have something there. I came across another clip art website, and of course it's called clipart.com/en, and I just noticed, and I'm mentioning this because just keep in the back of your head at some point, the clipart.com/en just changed servers and just changed, of course they did, and have changed owners. When I looked at it a month or two ago, when I started looking into this project, it looked really amazing, and of course I didn't put down any of their names. Look into it at some point in the future because it has really helped. I'm just looking at some of the texting. I'm wondering if several systems, the system could share accounts. Yes. One of that's a great opportunity, an option for those people who do spend money or need to spend money. I also wanted to mention this amazing new age Web 2.0 smart device user opportunity. It's an interesting idea about mobile amateur photo collections, FOAP, FOAP. And I actually, the idea here is that the photographers only use mobile devices, so your smartphone, for example, or your Android, or whatever it might be, and take wonderful pictures. It might be of a shoe on a hardwood floor. And they would upload these amazing, really brilliant pictures. Some of them are kind of weird on this website, mobily from their device. And this website gives the purchaser of any images the opportunity to do a search, a keyword search for photos, and purchase them as needed. There are some, and I'm actually looking at my other screen because I actually have all these websites up there. So if you want me to show you a live version of what it looks like, I can definitely do that. Just let Jamie or anybody else know in the chat box. But some of the pictures that are coming through this new way of collecting photos is absolutely astonishing. I actually have the next slide is just a clip of what that looks like. I did a keyword search for book through this website, and these are all the ones that actually came up. So if you're looking for something that has a statue of a book, or maybe it's someone reading at a lake side, or of a, okay, this is a library with hardwood floors, and this is a library with stone floors. So these are really amazing pictures, and actually $10 is not that much. And again, it's about the amateur photographer creating these images that you might not necessarily have access to. And I think this is good. We're going to see a lot more of this. I'm just saying this as an amateur photographer myself. I love taking pictures. I've actually, coming across this a couple months ago, I signed up as a photographer, and some of the remarks, and other people can rate your pictures. It's a neat way of doing this. And actually, I kind of think contests for the best picture in your library might help, which brings me to my next slide. Images. One of the, when we talk about what makes them really great, there is such a thing as good marketing and bad marketing, and a lot of our good marketing happens because of the really good images. One of the opportunities or the thoughts that I keep on coming up with or coming across is, well, why not create your own photography library? Create your own, for your own library, create that library's own presence by taking pictures in that house. There are some things that I would recommend, things like photo consents, especially for young kids. But there are so many tips on picture taking online, picture taking for marketing, picture taking for the best poses and the positions, that sort of thing. Everyone with a smartphone, everyone usually with a smartphone has an easy point and click camera in their smartphone. And maybe a contest for your own photography library is awesome. There's a question about, do you get unlimited use of the photo once purchased? Folk, what I have noticed is that with all of these, the copyright and the licensing are there for you to read, and it just depends on the. I do believe it's okay, it's unlimited, but you'll have to check. The photographer for folk, for example, will tell you if you have a person in it, do they have their consent, do you have their consent to put it on and sell it? And so it just depends. So the fine print, read the fine print. Okay, so any questions up to this point? I am keeping track of the time as well as chat. I did want to spend a lot of time on all of those pieces because I do believe that will also help save money when people's money is tight, as we all know. Okay. The next piece, the second half, is about the online marketing tool option I have found. As you could imagine, there are a lot out there. This is as I mentioned to Jamie before, the tip of the iceberg of all the online marketing tool options out there. And there are so many more. Some things I don't know as much, and some things have a limited usage because I just created a free account for most of these. Most all of these four that I chose to in the time that I was allotted to highlight have a option to increase your membership to get more things. So, and it just depends. So Canva is just alphabetical order. Canva, Lucidpress, Piktochart, and PosterMyWall are four potential options for your library. I'll start with Canva, and at the bottom you see canva.com, and again, if you would like to get this website, you can do that, or this PowerPoint, you can do that. Each one of these have a lot of different options. The Canva.com is beta, and that is the number one thing that I wanted to make sure that people knew. It's beta, and I noticed that it crashed a few times when I tried playing with it. And it may simply be because I was using a browser that didn't like. I did not investigate what the browser suggestions or the most optimal recommended browsers that they would like to have had. But I use mostly Google.Chrome Google Chrome. I would also test it in Firefox and Internet Explorer, but I haven't done that. I will do that soon. The tech difficulty for this is minimal. It is really easy. It's one of the best tutorials on how to use an online marketing tool that I've ever seen. I'll tell you the one that is on the way other end, but this is a really easy website to use. It's free, but some of the elements, and this is what you're going to see more and more of, some of the elements, so some of the pictures, some of the fonts, some of the backgrounds are dollar added on items in which it would all add up. So once you're all done, then you would pay based on what you have added on, the elements that you add on. So it might be simply the background, it might be simply the picture. You'll see a lot more of the social media links. So this you can download to Facebook and Twitter and et cetera, et cetera. I found two different types of download options, both PDF and PNG. So you can take a little picture of this and then put it on Facebook if you wanted. But I debated whether or not I wanted to put this onto this these suggested ones, just because it was beta, but I liked it so much that it is beta. And so to the right, you'll see what I created. The background looks like a piece of wood. That is actually a picture of my little library when I first opened almost 7 years ago. I didn't have very many books, but I tested with uploading pictures as opposed to simply some of the stock pictures in that, and you'll see a lot of that. Many times, most often, you'll be able to upload a picture of your library or whatever you've taken, and I'd highly recommend doing that because some of their stock free versions are not so awesome. So that's Canva. Like Canva a lot. The second one is Lucidpress. This is the total opposite. Lucidpress has a much higher tech difficulty than Canva. Lucidpress reminds me of some design software that I've used in the past, including Adobe InDesign, if you know what that I'm talking about. It has layers, and it doesn't play nice sometimes. The nice thing about this, though, is that you see exactly, you can download it in a JPEG, PDF, PNG. You can create a free version of this, and it obviously, and I think it's kind of repeating the wheel, and you'll see more and more of this, but it's the social media links, obviously. And it's about $100 for the basic version. And looking at the website, they really highlight the fact that it's perfect for print. They do have a lot of partners in the print field, so but it is an option. So if you know anyone who really likes InDesign, it kind of looks like that. Piktochart. Piktochart is minimal difficulty in terms of, oh, I'm sorry, I went back. And I chose this because it is a chart, but you still can create really great pictures and PDFs. It is a free version. There's minimal downloads available. It is really nifty. If you are doing, let's say, a chart or a poster about a product, or you want to create a visual based on data, this is really nifty. They have ways that you can create interactive charts for things like Facebook or your website. What's also nifty about this is it's different types of charts. So and you don't even have to create the chart. They create the chart for you based on the data. And you can, if you have a Google account, and I wanted to investigate further, I didn't have time, but you can input or download data from your Google graphics, and it will create a chart based on what you would like. This particular one is this rainbow, and if I create it as a an interactive chart, it would kind of like bounce like a spring or a slinky, kind of nifty. And it's about $66 for 3 months. So, and if you have that account, you can create PDFs and PNGs. I just think it's kind of pretty. And then it's a minimal difficulty. Okay, so the last one that I wanted to show was PosterMyWall. PosterMyWall is medium difficulty. It was one of the very first ones that I had tested, and it touts itself as something that users, band members might be able to highlight when they're going to be playing at the local cafe, that sort of thing. Download is free with the basic, and you can, it has a little bit of a watermark that says www.postermywall.com in the bottom. It's not too bad. So it's medium difficulty. It's not too hard. And again, with social media links are available. So I just wanted to go through these really quickly one more time. Canva, Lucidpress, and Piktochart, and PosterMyWall. And that's what I have for you. It's 25 minutes or 22 minutes. How cool is that?
Karen, do you want to show
Any questions or comments?
Do you want to show the live links of those pages?
Sure.
We have some time.
Sure, I'd be glad to. Is there one that people would like me to show?
Just show Canva.
I could show all of them.
You can show all of them.
Which one?
Show all of them.
Okay. I'll show all of them. Can you see this one?
Yeah.
Okay, so Canva, it was very cute. Canva is in beta, as I mentioned. Canva, you can actually, there's a ton of other ways that you can create a poster. And Canva was created by people who are doing yearbooks. So that's a really cool history. And after I created this first one, I got a really nice email from them saying, how was your experience? So that was kind of cute. So you can create a design based on Pinterest, social media, presentation, even photo collage, how cool that would be. And I don't want it to freak out on my computer. But this is the element, and I'm going to show you the element, the actual picture itself. So this is what this particular layout looks like. You can search by account, and I'll just search for library. And you can see all the different pictures that it already has. There's not a lot, so if you hover over all of them, they're $1 each. This image would be $1 each. You can create lines, so a lot of these items are available free. You can create goofy lines like this and drag and pull it onto your poster, whichever way you want to do that. You can rotate. So it's a really simple way to say, oh, I need a flower, I'll find a flower. You can change the backgrounds as well. I'm going to change the background right now. This is the dark wood. Let's say, no, I want to have something that has something totally different. I cannot tell you how much I like this one. So that's Canva. I showed you an example of soap. So here's an example of Lucidpress. And I'm going to see if I can find my documents. This is the flyer. So it looks a little bit different. It's a little harder to, let's see, modify this one. I'll create a new one. Create new document. So you can create based on, and a lot of these you can create based on something that's already been created. Now, as you notice, this one has they use the word premium for, hey, you're not paying for this. So I'm going to do an event invitation for this one. And this one, remember, has a lot more tech requirements, a knowledge. So it does look a little bit more challenging to use because you have to figure out, okay, this is the file, this is the rearranging. Let's insert a text box. Well, all of a sudden it's here and you have to pull this around. It's a little bit more difficult to play with because now you have multiple layers. I wasn't too fond of this, but if you, obviously all these are free accounts that you can play with. And many of them, too, are now integrating with Google Drive, with Google Maps, or Google Images, or whatever the case might be. You can obviously pull all these are all individual pieces, so this is a text box, this is an image, this is a line, so you can pull all these and play with them. And over to the right, it does change. You can edit any of these images itself. So that is Lucidpress. That's the one that I'm not the fondest of. PosterMyWall is the one that band members really, really like, and I'll show you why. You can create, obviously, image background or color fade, or you can upload something. This is a little bit more, you do need to have some tech background. I'm just going to do, I'm going to do a landscape, maybe this color.
What do you mean by tech, Karen?
And over to the right.
Like what kind of tech
Oh, that's a good question. Tech things like, so, well, okay, so what is a clip art? How do you make sure to upload? Do you know how to edit fancy text? Are you comfortable with changing the color of the text? Here's text, here's fancy text. Do you know how to do a photo?
Okay, so pretty basic stuff.
Upload a photo. So basic stuff, yeah, and sometimes it's like, what am I doing? I forgot what I did, or the multiple layers. Adobe InDesign is one of the higher end users are graphic designers, so they have lots of layers, they have that sort of thing. And this is something that is nice about PosterMyWall. If you have a Flickr account, if your library has a Flickr account, you can upload pictures from Flickr even. I'll let you use that. And last but not least, my favorite one, well, one of my favorite ones, is this Piktochart. And I just want to show you the saved Piktochart. I'm going to edit what I had, and so you can see kind of how you can create the interactive chart. Da-da-da. It's initializing. Here we go. They're pretty. So I am going to pull this over here. I'm going to notice this element created a menu of itself. So this is a little bit more, has a little bit more elements that you can play with. Opacity, linking, arranging. And if I wanted to do, here's the chart itself and the chart data. So you can create dynamic chart using a Google spreadsheet. You can add more data, let's say, so I added another element, and I can really quickly change that chart itself. Or I can make it into a vertical chart. And I really think this might be helpful for some people trying to prove, isn't it kind of cool? Prove something, whether or not it's a poster for the reading group, or look at this, this is a neat way of identifying who is actually reading or reading a particular book. You know, I was trying to think of ways that I would use it in my library, and that definitely has to do with usage and getting the word out.
All right. Two questions came through. Yes. Can you use your own photos for Lucidpress? Do you know?
Let's see. I do believe so. The shared, the documents themselves are here, and the, let's see, I added loading them. Many of these you can. Many of your images you can upload from, this way you can upload from Facebook, Flickr. You can upload based on your particular browser. So yes, most all of them that I found, yes.
And then were you just using the free elements from Piktochart?
Yes.
Okay.
I didn't pay for anything.
Awesome.
So everything that you can see has been free.
Peg says, I would really like to use one product to market my annual report. Which tool would you recommend for that?
Oh, that's a good question. Well, you know, one of the things, I don't know, I suspect that if you have a lot of pictures, using something like this would be awesome.
Like
I
Canva?
really like Canva because it was created for a
yearbook. Right.
Yeah, and
right.
if you have a lot of pictures that you want to input and you can present it your own way, why not? I really haven't investigated that type of a document, but I don't know why not. I'm just looking at it as we're talking. Try Canva.
So I'm just curious what all of you listening in, and you can use your question box. I guess, is there a tool that piques any of your interests or something that you think you might want to try? I'm just curious, and if you wouldn't mind typing that in your question box, we can just see what you thought. Anybody? Canva, Pictograph and Canva. Okay, Canva and PosterMyWall. Canva seems user-friendly. Canva, awesome. Canva and Lucidpress. Canva. So that kind of seems like a popular one. Well, that is excellent. So again, thank you, Karen, for sharing some of these tools. And, you know, this was a short session, and, you know, perhaps if this is something, I know I got a lot of good response on this, doing this presentation, or Karen doing this presentation, and if it's something you'd like us to follow up on or have her share more tools, because she said she found a lot, this is something we could definitely do a follow-up with. So please give me some feedback in the follow-up email. So again, thank you, Karen. Thank you all for listening in. Hope you all have a great rest of your day and a great rest of your week.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.